Welcome to History Explained, where we illuminate the past to better understand our present. I'm your guide for this weekly dose of 7 days under 7 minutes. Today is Sunday, June 1st, 2025. As we do every Wednesday, we examine world events, those pivotal developments that have reshaped global dynamics, crossed borders, and redefined our shared history. This week, from May 26th to June 1st, 2025, the world witnessed moments of geopolitical tension, democratic reflection, and collective remembrance that echo well beyond their immediate headlines. We begin in Sudan, where the humanitarian crisis intensified following renewed fighting between the army and the Rapid Support Forces. On May 29th, the United Nations issued an urgent appeal for aid, warning of famine conditions threatening over 8 million people. The conflict, which began in 2023, has not only destabilized the country but risks igniting broader regional unrest. As Sudan's civil war enters its third year, the crisis recalls other prolonged humanitarian disasters, and the global community's repeated struggle to respond with unified urgency. Meanwhile, South Korea and the United States conducted joint military drills on May 30th, days after North Korea launched its latest reconnaissance satellite. Pyongyang's claim that the launch was successful remains unverified, but the growing militarization on the Korean peninsula raises fresh concerns about security and deterrence in East Asia. The situation mirrors Cold War-era dynamics, where symbolic technological advancements often masked deeper power struggles, and miscalculations had global consequences. In Germany, June 1st marked the 75th anniversary of the Grundgesetz, the country's post-war basic law, widely regarded as one of the most resilient democratic constitutions in the modern world. Celebrations in Berlin included speeches from Chancellor Olaf Scholz and youth leaders, reaffirming Germany's commitment to democratic values amid a surge in right-wing populism across Europe. The moment also served as a reminder of how international institutions, from NATO to the EU, were born from the ashes of conflict and remain vital in preserving peace. France held a national remembrance ceremony on May 28, marking the 80th anniversary of Charles de Gaulle's return to power in 1945, a foundational event in post-war French history. President Emmanuel Macron's speech emphasized democratic resilience and French leadership within Europe, drawing parallels between de Gaulle's defiance during World War II and the nation's current posture in the face of global authoritarianism and war in Ukraine. Across the United States, Memorial Day on May 27 brought the nation together in solemn remembrance of military service members who lost their lives. Parades, wreath-laying ceremonies, and community gatherings honored this collective memory, reaffirming the democratic values that continue to define the American identity. Yet this year's commemorations were also shadowed by ongoing debates over veterans' healthcare, foreign policy, and national unity, reminding us that remembrance is often political as well as personal. In Africa, the African Union convened a summit on May 31st in Addis Ababa to address the continent's worsening climate vulnerability. Leaders from over 30 nations signed a joint declaration calling for debt relief and expanded funding for green energy. The summit marks a strategic pivot for African states, away from reliance on extractive economies and toward climate diplomacy as a key form of global engagement, recalling earlier post-colonial movements that sought greater autonomy and cooperation. And finally, Japan celebrated the 100th anniversary of its first subway line on June 1st, recognizing a century of urban transformation in Tokyo. With climate resilience and transportation infrastructure now central to global policy, the anniversary is more than a celebration of mobility. It's a reminder of how cities evolve as engines of history, technology, and social connection. From crisis zones to constitutional milestones, this past week has shown how world events, whether driven by conflict, memory, or cooperation, continue to shape our shared future. In each of these moments lies a deeper story of how nations respond to adversity, negotiate change, and define their place in history. Thank you for joining us for this exploration of world events. If you found this perspective meaningful, be sure to subscribe and share the episode with someone who follows international affairs. Up next, our Thursday episode, where we explore cultural insights from around the globe. Until then, I'm your guide for History Explained, where understanding yesterday is the key to navigating tomorrow.